Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Hello and welcome to this German episode of Classic Restos, but first, you need to see this. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. For oils, coolants, additives and technical assistance, Oil Right, use Penrite. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. All types of vehicles make up the content for Classic Restos, but when it comes time for the early Volkswagens, or more the people that own them, well, to me, they represent a ton of fun. So I return to beautiful Albury, New South Wales, for this. Welcome to the 2016 V-Dubs in the Square. And it's time to think outside of the square because there is nothing too square about Hoveltree Park here in Albury. But once upon a time, this event used to happen at QE2 Square, located on Dean Street, hence V-Dubs in the Square. Here on the banks of the Murray River, the perfect backdrop is set for the event. This is the 4th year, and people travel from as far as Newcastle and Adelaide to be here. All makes under the VW canopy are welcome, comprising Audi, Skoda and Porsche. Volkswagen people are a different crowd. It's certainly not about tyres smoking and throwing cars into corners, and after all, that's not what Classic Restos promotes anyway. Like all classic vehicle enthusiasts, these owners are on the same page as all of us, as the temporary custodians of cars with tons of history. There are thousands of stories about a Volkswagen. Love them or hate them, the Volksy or Dak Dak was created in a dark time of global controversy. The people's car, under instruction from Adolf Hitler to take his German citizens, the average German family, 2 adults and 3 children, at a speed of 100 kilometres an hour from point A to point B. Indeed, the Volkswagen snuck under the same umbrella as Henry Ford's philosophy of an affordable car for the average person. The Volkswagen is symbolic for fun, especially these days. From the European war-torn days of its first creation, through the private hands of millions over decades, Kombi vans taking thousands of surfers to the beach, and even more making commercial deliveries. The hippie era back in a time when nothing moved very fast at all. Split windscreens where feet could hang out of the window. The classic Volkswagen will always remain in the hearts of many, and will also remain in the middle of the freeways, holding up our traffic. So it's time now to grab a hold of your beer stein and your bratwurst sausage and come with me. And there's no better way than to start this week's episode, the 2016 VITS Volkswagens in the Square. We have Charmaine. Hello, Charmaine.
Hi, how are you, Fletch? It's great to see you again.
Absolutely. Now, you've got something very special. Now, to me, it looks like an upgraded Karmann Ghia. This is an elaborate 5-star car by comparison in so many ways. What can you tell us about it?
Okay, it's a T34 Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. It's very specialised in the fact that there was only 42,000 made in years of production from 62 to 69. There's only about 20 or 30 left on the Australian register now.
Wow.
There are more cars hidden around because we actually found a second one.
But Charmaine, it's such a good-looking car. I mean, it's a long wheelbase car as well.
Yes. It actually was, back in its day, it was twice the price of a Beetle and more expensive than a Porsche 316.
We look around the front of the nose cone. It's got some shape. There's a bit of class going on there. And how about those neat fins across the top of the rear quarter panel? That really sets off the rear of the car, in my opinion.
It's a beautiful car. It's a car I've never seen before. I saw the first one about 4 years ago, fell in love with it, and that was my dream car.
Well, with all due respects, this compared to the standard Karmann Ghia, this looks like the Fairmont. This is like an upscaled version.
It was a luxury vehicle. It had its intermittent wipers. It had luxury things that no other car had. So it was just a beautiful car. It was meant for me.
Absolutely. Talk about two peas in a pod, Charmaine. And this car, it is sensational. Now, let's have a look at the interior. Tell us about the back seat. What's going on there?
Okay, it's actually called a emergency seat in the brochure, and that's how it's promoted. You can't sit in it.
Why put a seat in a car if you can sit on it? I mean, it makes perfect sense not to sit on it.
It does fold down, and it's designed to put your luggage and everything. It's a luxury car. It's a two-person car. As much as it says you can fit four in it, you can't.
Where it loses out in back makes up in front. Look at the legroom in there. I mean, you could be 8 feet tall and fit in there.
Have a party in the front. Yeah. Party in the front, no problems at all. You could lay out and fall asleep in the front. Not an issue at all.
Okay, now Charmaine, this has got a sunroof as well. What's the deal there?
The sunroof is not factory for my particular car, but there were factory models of it, and they were the Gold Line ones. They were perfect, but they just didn't sell very. It was an expensive modification. People couldn't afford it. It was already a very expensive car. So it was usually doctors, lawyers, those sorts of professions that had cars like this.
So obviously it was the price bracket that kept the big sales away, because to me, it's an extremely smart looking car.
It is a very smart car. Like I said, it was double the price of a Beetle, and a Beetle was actually generally a little bit dearer than, like, if you went and bought a Falcon or something like that. It was still a luxury car. So,
well, last question now before you go off and have your latte coffee or whatever you're about to go and do. Yeah. What powers it out back? Can you tell us about that?
It's a 1500S engine in there. So powers along for power to weight ratio, no issues at all there. Twin carbs, perfect car.
I mean, Charmaine is a walking Volkswagen encyclopedia. I mean, if you look up Volkswagen encyclopedia in the dictionary, there's a picture of her in there.
No, not really. It's just I love the cars. I love whether it's a Beetle, whether it's Karmann, whether it's a Splitty. You name it, love them all.
Charmaine, pleasure interviewing you. First cab off the rank here today with this sensational car. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Fletch. Great to see you.
You're watching the 2016 Volkswagens in the Square here in Albury, New South Wales, Australia. You're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more right after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. Owning a Volkswagen is about being different, and that's what I love and enjoy about the fraternity. We have Roscoe. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good, Fletch. How are you today?
Good, mate. Type 3, what year?
1964.
What inspired you to put all the crap around the front and the rear of the vehicle?
Well, some people don't call it crap. Some people just call it stuff.
You're the only guy on the paddock that's chosen to lower his Volkswagen by not doing it through the suspension. You've just loaded up the front and it's self-lowered.
Partly. It is lowered as well a little bit, I must tell you, yes. But there is a... I had to take the bumpers off recently, and I did weigh the front bumper. It is 20 kilos worth, so it's certainly assisting, but it's not the whole reason.
It looks like something... It's almost creepy. It looks like something out of Wolf Creek. I mean, just run us through some of the things that you've got round the front of the bar, Roscoe.
Around the front, well, the cheap skull come from a mate's place, and that just went... I don't know, that was the start of it. And I got a thing about lights for a while, none of which actually work, of course. But so they just evolved. They get changed every now and then.
What I love about the fraternity of Volkswagen is that these are really the only cars on the road that you can do this stuff to, and it looks half good. You get a bit of a laugh out of it. If you did it with any other car, it'd just look crazy.
Yeah, I get a laugh. I get lots of stops for photos. I've stopped at lights and sat for another 5 or 10 seconds while people take photos. I get lots of comments parked in the street and lots of smiles, and that's one of the reasons it's still like it is, because I just love it. It's just great.
There you go. That just sums it all up. And it doesn't care about, the bright work being gleaming and beautiful paint jobs. It's not about that. It's about your own creativity, an extension of your own persona, and how far you can actually go with your imagination.
Yeah, limited by the canvas. I've run out of spots to hang things on. So, yeah.
What power does it up in the rear?
Up in the rear, yeah, very good. You're on that. We're rear powered here today, yes.
I went to lift the bonnet earlier and there's nothing in there, so I figured the engine was in the back.
Fletch, the engine is modified. It's got a 78mm crank, 90.5 pistons, and twin DCNF Webers, 42mm.
So you got a stroker crank?
Yeah, stroker crank, yeah.
How cool's that? 1500 out to 2 litre, like stroker cranks even for the Voxies. I mean, it's wow, these stroker cranks, they're doing some awesome things with engines these days.
Yeah, well, it's one of the second most worked on motor in the, apparently, according to whatever you want to talk about. Yep. A lot of people do a lot of modifying of them, so there's lots of options, yeah.
You can get them to go. Roscoe, speaking of going, I better move on to the next one, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. A little bit different, and that's what we love, and you're game enough to do it. Good on you, buddy.
Good on you. No worries. Fletch, good talking to you. Have a good day.
Moving through 2016 VITS as we do. Time for Cardia. Hello, Cardia.
Hi, Fletch. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How cool are you? 71 convertible Beetle.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this car?
Look, the car was, I was initially attracted to the car for the look of it, the fact that it was a two-tone. There's a lot of Karmann Beetles out, but I was drawn to the two-tone, the burgundy on white, or the white on burgundy, and the fact that it was factory convertible.
What's the significance of the Karmann badge on the side there? They actually did these Beetles?
Yes, they did, yes. So
educating me as I go. See, Fletch has to learn.
Yeah, so they came out of the German factory. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must really set them apart, because obviously we've heard of the Karmann Ghia, and to see the Karmann badge on the actual Beetle, being the convertible as well. Do you know how many of these cars might be in Australia?
I have absolutely no idea.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, Cardia, thanks so much for your interview.
Thank you so much.
That's right. We're going to go and speak to Cardia's partner now, Millsy, because apparently
no more.
Yeah, apparently he knows what's going on, right?
He does. Right. I just drive it.
Okay. Good on you, Cardia.
Thanks, Fletch. Bye.
Fletch, how'd you go with Cardia?
All right. Went okay with her, but got to find out the real stuff, so I thought we'd bring you over.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
Mechanically, mate, what have you done to it?
Absolutely nothing. It's running a stock 1500, so yeah. So we haven't done much to it at all. Yeah. So
cool car.
very cool. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice.
It's not every day of the week that you see a convertible Beetle, but not only that, the colour scheme is amazing.
Yeah. That's what we fell in love with the colour first up. Obviously, that was the main attraction for us. Yeah, so we looked at a few, when we were purchasing it, but this one definitely, striked us. As soon as we saw it, we knew we wanted it, so we picked it up.
Millsy, the interior of this car, it's just brilliant. Like, have you had to do much to it in the time that you've had it?
No, just clean it up, really. We got it fairly close to what it was right now. We might do a little bit more in the future. There's just, some rubbers and some tweaking and things like that we need to do to it. But overall, the interior is great. We fell in love with the red as well. So we don't need to do much more to it. But, we love it. We love it, yeah.
Should be breezy in winter?
Definitely. Yeah, the kids enjoy the roof off, and when the roof's on, it's nice. It's interesting to drive.
Mate, heaps of appeal. The feeling that these cars give these enthusiasts, if you could bottle it, you could sell it.
Yep, exactly right. There's a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody driving their pride and joy gets happiness, but it's a little bit different with Volkswagens, definitely.
Good on you, Millsy. Great to interview you.
Thanks, Fletch. Take care.
Keep the dream alive, mate.
No worries, will do.
I can use a Volkswagen here on this part of the show. They were sold in the United States of America, which takes me to this. You joining us on a Fletch tour.
There is nothing
quite like a Fletch Tour. Carlisle or Ford Nationals, GM Nationals and Chrysler Nationals await you.
On a Fletch Tour, you don't have to worry about a thing.
I can't believe how good it's been.
Experience Route 66
We're definitely coming back to do Route 66.
or choose the Detroit Tour, attending the Woodward Dream Cruise.
On a Fletch Tour, every day just gets better and better.
You've got to do something in your life, you've got to do a Fletch Tour.
There are 5 Fletch Tours. See fletchtours.com or contact All Things Travel, Lara. If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. And Hare and Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Kombi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Okay, time now for Elton with his 1954, this sparse steel box. What's going on with this, Elton?
Oh, it's a passion of love, you know. Like, you got to love them too.
It'd have to be.
Yeah. It was rusty when I got it, but now it's pretty solid. So
it's so unique as this square box that you got to love it.
Yeah. Like, this is where the Kombi started. This is as early as they get, pretty much. So it's got a heritage.
Now, tell me, look, you've got no door cards on, no trims on the doors. What's going on there? And also the gear stick, your knob's missing. I mean, it's a very incomplete vehicle.
Yeah, what it is, I'm actually from Canberra, come down here to pick it up. It's come from Geelong. Ian Terry's just done some work. It needs finishing off and I'm taking it home to finish it. So I've got the door card sitting in the back.
Mate, the old gear stick should be hard on the underside of your hand, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I've only driven it literally from around the corner here for about 20 metres, so I haven't felt it yet. So.
Yeah. Now, vehicle in terms of its body, now it seems pretty good. I mean, it's pretty straight. There's a few battle scars here and there, but in all, it's pretty tidy.
Yeah, we tried to keep it solid, but keep as much original paint and much of the original patina and history, I guess, you know, and as much as we could, yeah. So.
I mean, a 1954 technology here. I mean, love the slots there, just cut into the floor pan for the pedals to move. I mean, you know, that's back in the 20s, and prior to that, you saw that design.
Yeah, I think it is like driving a tractor. If it was stock, so I've modified it a lot. But these pre-54 is, they're technically called a barn door, or that's the name they've been given, and there's a lot of differences. 55 they changed, it made it a bit more user-friendly, I guess. So.
And of course we've got the famous split screen out front. Now, how iconic. I mean, I think that's personally probably one of the coolest aspects of these old vans.
Yeah, you got to love them with the safari windows that flip open, and yeah, it's great fun, you know. So.
Engine out back, it looks pretty clean. What have you done there?
Oh, it's a nice 1916, a big lump, yeah, with a nice cam in it. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to taking it out on the open road.
See what these guys do. They've got these old rusty boxes, but they put these engines in the back and they actually go half well, which is pretty cool, because to see one of these take off from the lights and get going a lot better than what you'd think is pretty funny as well.
Yeah. Plus, it's got four-wheel disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, hydraulic clutch. It's got everything. So
its own mass going through the air. It's assisted with the disc brakes as well, so it would pull up pretty good.
Yeah, well, just from using it just here. It's got, booster as well, so it stops on a dime.
You've got boosted brakes. You've just driven at 8 metres. You've noticed how well it stops. You've done the hard yards, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I've got one at home without a booster, and I can tell you the difference straight away.
Yeah, like putting your foot on a house brick.
Yeah, true.
Good on you, Elton.
All right, thanks very much, Fletch.
Got Michael now. How you doing?
Great, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Love your 67. What's the story here?
Big story on this car. It started off as a sort of a shed find about 2 years ago, but since then we've done an extensive rebuild, new front end, drop plates, so to get the ride height that we like and the handling.
I like the way you guys do things. You leave the bodies on the outside how you found them, but mechanically you make them A1.
That's exactly right, Fletch. That's the look. People like to see the patina, a bit of rust, and what they really should look like.
I mean, patina's one thing, but here with your car, Michael, it looks like there's been some sort of high-powered house brick hit you over there in the guard over on the driver's side. What happened there?
Look, it's an unknown quantity. It is the shape of something we're not too sure of. Had offers to have it repaired, but
unidentified.
Yeah, unidentified flying objects is probably what we could say. Look, we've had the offers to repair it, but I've knocked back the offers because it's all part of the character of the car.
The theme on top on the roof rack there, you've got the items of old sitting up there. Looks fantastic. Explain that.
Look, that's what you call roof junk. We just put things on there that give it a bit of character. You know, there's a lot of jokes going around that, I actually do use the bicycle when the car breaks down.
You said that, not me.
Well, it does break down often. It's all part of the game. Old cars are never as reliable as new cars.
Old Volkswagens.
Well, let's not pin down a brand, Fletch. Let's be fair,
Absolutely. All old cars break down. They're all unreliable, aren't they, Michael?
Yes, not just Volkswagens.
This is getting back to the mechanical. You make them A1, you make the brakes right, you make the engines reliable, you make them half-handle, and you've got this cool old ride that you're getting around in. I just think what you've done here overall is great. Now, interior, what have you done there?
Look, the number plates are Bajito. Bajito means low in Mexican. Okay, so there's a Mexican theme going on here. Everything is got a bit of a Mexican flavour. So we carry it on with the interior. A couple of Mexican rugs. You talk about not doing things in a big bucks way. This is low buck, big fun car. We get as many looks and it's have much fun in this car as people with very, very expensive cars.
That's what today's whole episode has been about. The Volkswagen fraternity having fun. And Mexican theme. It gets back to being the universal car. You could theme a Volkswagen from any part of the globe because they were sold everywhere as well. I mean, what a universal product they were.
The fun is getting this car from A to B.
Yeah.
We've probably travelled around about 3.5 hours to get here. Yeah. It's a different way of travelling.
And you left 6 weeks ago, right?
Well, I once had a car like that, yeah.
No, look, seriously, I'm saying that respectfully because I love these things. They're a whole bunch of fun. Getting back to the best hat, you're doing well there too, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks, Fletch. Right. Yeah, look, been a great day, mate. Thank you.
Buddy. Thanks, mate.
See ya.
Organiser of 2016 VITS, we have Reece. How you doing, Reece?
Good, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Now, before we go any further, explain VITS. What does it stand for?
VITS originally was V-dubs in the square. It was held at QE2 Square, Central Albury and Dean Street, and we outgrew the area really quick. So I had to move, and I moved to Hovel Tree, and V-dubs in a square just didn't make sense anymore because it wasn't in a square. So I just abbreviated the first letter of each one and come up with VITS.
That's cool. Now, numbers are picking up quite dramatically each year, I'm hearing.
Yeah, they are. It's getting bigger and bigger every year, and I'm getting a little worried I'm going to outgrow this place. So It's a good thing, though. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's
great town, and also home of Chrysler's on the Murray, and they've been running for many, many years themselves. They've outgrown too. Their numbers have quadrupled over many, many years. Now, in the case of you guys, when we're talking numbers of under 200, if you're gaining 20 and 30 cars a year, that's massive growth.
It is huge growth. I actually know the organisers of the Chrysler's on the Murray, and I know what's involved in that, and it scares me if I'm going to get that big. But yeah, each year, 20 plus more are coming. So
I think the classic Volkswagens stand for so much. As I've said, all day long with the TV show, it's all about fun, theming the cars, no limit to the imaginations, and that's what turns up here today.
Yeah, like the 54 barn door, that thing was amazing.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of splitties and bay windows, just a really good turnout and some beautiful cars.
To think that once upon a time, in many ways, they were the battlers' cars, the Volkswagen, and they've come through all these decades, and now they're cool and trendy to own.
Yes, I've heard many stories of people saying they couldn't give away their splitties, and now look what they're worth. You know, they're totally regretting a couple $100 they'd sell them for back in the 80s.
And it's contradictory too, because you'd speak to some people, and back in the early days as well, they paid quite a lot for their Volkswagen, so were a more expensive vehicle.
Yes, that's very true. It's amazing. Yep.
Well, look, Reece, I'll let you get back to it, mate. Congratulations for 2016. Now, 2017, what's happening there?
Same place, same weekend, Anzac Day weekend in April 2017, and totally encourage as many people to come. Audis, Volkswagens, Skodas, the lot.
Well, there you go. If you like your ducks, and even if you don't, come on down 2017 and check out what these guys do. It's a great little show. Good on you, Reece.
Cheers, Fletch. Thank you.
Well, there you go. There's just some of the 2016 Volkswagens in the square here in Albury, New South Wales. Have a look online and see if you can get here for 2017. It's a great event. And this Beetle next to me is just the kind of thing that is here all day long. In the meantime, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.